You are listening to the Barbra Show, the place where we discuss all that really matters. We will cover all you need to know about lifestyle, health, spirituality, and plus so much more. Are you ready? Let's dive in. You are listening to episode 7 with Tafline Thomas. Tafline works as an energy healer in a palliative care unit in Sydney, Australia. In this episode, we will talk about the differences between scripting and journaling, how powerful scripting is in terms of manifestation, how long should we script in order to get what we want, and a lot more. Welcome to my podcast, Tafline. My first question for you is, what are you grateful for?
I am grateful for so many things, but every single day I'm grateful for my health. That's the main thing, because without that, nothing else matters as far as I'm concerned.
Love it. Thank you so much. So let's dive straight in, and let's start talking about the magic of scripting. What is scripting? Yeah. How do we do it? How does it work for us? Tell me all about it.
Right. Well, scripting, a lot of people get mixed up between scripting and journaling. So that's quite, I get asked what's the difference quite a lot. And in my opinion, scripting is to manifest and journaling is to stay aligned with what you've manifested. So personally, I've got different things that I do. So on a morning, I write my gratitude journal. So I write maybe 10 things. So 5 things that I'm grateful for that I have, like my health, as I just said, my family, my house, so 5 things. And then I also write 5 things that I haven't got, but that I wished I had, if that makes sense. So I write it in the tense that I've already got it. So, for example, if it was a new car, then I would put, I'm so grateful for my new car, as if I've already got it. So that's my gratitude on a morning. And the reason I do that on a morning, because I think as soon as you wake up, if you set the tone with gratitude, that you carry that with you all day, you know what I mean? So it's nice. It's a nice thing to have and to keep with you, to raise your vibration first thing on a morning, because you're still in the dream state. So it's nice to wake up and do that like straight away. I've got my journal next to my bed. On an evening, I think that's another good time to start scripting, because when you go to sleep, your conscious mind shuts down, and that's when you can access your subconscious. So you can sort of program your mind with the last thing that you're doing. So that's when I really get into my scripting. And there's so many different ways, Barbara, but the way that I do it personally is I literally write like diary entries. Sometimes I do diary entries, or sometimes I write as if I'm writing to a friend, and I'll address it to like, dear universe. That's what I always put, but it's personal to everyone. You can put God, angels, whatever you're comfortable with. And I write, I literally write what I want. So, and I'd write it as if I'm there. So if it was a holiday, for example, I would write as if I'm, 3 days into that holiday, and I'd write, so I'm writing to the universe, and I'd really, because the thing is with scripting, it's the feeling that's the secret. So you can't just write like you're writing your shopping list. You've got to write, and you've got to access the feeling, because that's when it's going to work. When you align with the feeling, that's when it manifests.
Would you say it's like activating of the energy? So you have the energy and you just activate it, and you move it towards where you want it to go?
Yeah, it is. I always think whatever we want in life, it's happening somewhere in another world. You know what I mean? So for us to get there, we've got to align with that feeling. And then when you connect, it just happens. And you know what? It just happens so magically that it blows my mind every time. I get so excited about it, because it's not our job to work out how it's going to happen, or, it can even seem impossible. But once you start manifesting, there's like a bridge of incidents that happen to align you to what you want, and it's mind-blowing.
Would you say it's important to have the vibration raised as well? Because obviously we can do scripting, but how about if we are not in the right frame of mind? if we are stressed or rushed, or we had such an angry day, or what would you do is the best way to be what would you say is the best time for us to do scripting?
Definitely morning, definitely night. But if you've had a really bad day, like you said, it is important to have that feeling. You can't just be writing like half-assed, if I can say that. You know what I mean? You've got to sort of set the tone, because it's not so much the writing that's going to make it happen. It's the feeling, because you're accessing all the senses. You're thinking, you're writing, you're reading, you're taking the time to put pen to paper. That's what's important. What I'd probably do then is I would actually read what I'd wrote the day before. So I'd like reread over my things just to sort of pick my vibration up. Or I would actually script to be in a better mood. You know, I'm so happy and grateful that my day didn't go well, but now I'm here and I feel relaxed inside, you know, that type of thing. So I'd sort of script to get myself out of that.
Absolutely. And I suppose that kind of makes you more grounded as well.
Yes, definitely. But I certainly wouldn't go into scripting if you've coming off the end of a bad day, which we all get, you know what I mean? But I definitely would read over my previous scripts, or I would put on a meditation for bed, because it's not good to go to bed with that sort of energy.
Fantastic. So what can we script for?
Absolutely anything. Like you name it, you can script it. So health, a special person, a new home, new car, like absolutely, like anything you want, you can script. So, for example, like if you wanted to script for a man, let me just say, because that's the most thing I get asked about scripting for. One wants a man. So you can't just script like, oh, I want to meet someone nice and keep scripting that. Like, go into it. Like, what would he look like? What would he smell like? Like, really access the senses. Like, you know, how would he smile? How would his skin feel? Like, really get into it. And then if you wanted to get, you know, go on a date and get married, if you're scripting for a wedding, don't script like I'm standing here in my wedding dress, because for all you know, you could get jilted at the altar. You know, you've got to follow the story right through. Even script about your first wedding anniversary. So not only did you get married, but you've successfully just, you know, had a happy 1 year anniversary. So really get into the details of it. Like, that's where the magic is, when you really like break it down and describe every detail. Like, if you want more money, what would you do if you had more money? How would that look for you? You know, and really get into it. You've got to go into it with a real clarity. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the beauty of scripting. It gives you clarity to what do you actually want. You know, I've got friends who say to me, it doesn't work for me. And I'm like, but are you being consistent with it? You know, you're doing it every day, or at least reading your scripts every day. And they're usually not. And I think, well, it has worked, because you've just manifested that it doesn't work for you. And it's not working for you. You know, you've really got to, it's my whole life. Like, I'm surrounded by paper that I've scripted on in my bedroom. But I mean, you know, you can buy a beautiful journal and a nice pen, and it's beautiful to be like that. But I'm such a scatty person. I've got papers everywhere, because I just get so into it and I get so excited that I just write pages and pages. But you can write just, you know, even one paragraph a night, but just being consistent with it is when it's all going to manifest for you.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. So I have realized that the stuff which I have scripted 6 months ago, and I'm not a regular when it comes to scripting, right? Because I always kind of find something else which kind of distracts me. But I have been really paying attention to scripting about 6 months ago. And I have been scripting for a period of, I don't know, maybe about 2 weeks. And it's hilarious. Everything I have scripted is coming and it's happening, but it's happening right now. So it didn't happen like straight back then, but now it's happening. And I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, I wish that I was paying more attention to it. And I wish that I scripted a little bit more, because there'll be more stuff happening.
Yeah. But you know why that did work though, Barbara? Because you scripted, and like you said, you did it for about 2 weeks, and then you let it go. And it's the letting go part. You know, because people say, how long do you script for? Look, if it's something I really want, I do try and script. I script it out and then I'll read it every day, morning and night. And I always try and say 30 days, but sometimes you might get sick of it 2-3 weeks in. Like, you know, you know it off by heart. Once you start to get that feeling where, you know, I'm done with this, and you put it away, boom, that's where it starts. Just like what you've said, it's the letting go in it as well. You've scripted it, you've felt every sense to do with it, and then you've let it go.
So would you, for example, say that if we want to script for a husband, we will be scripting for a husband every day for about 1 week or so, and then kind of reading this script up to 30 days? Is that what you meant by that?
Look, there's a few different ways to go about it. If I was scripting for a husband, I would write out the letter and I would address it to someone. Universe, that's what I keep saying universe because that's what I do. So I'd write, dear universe, I am so happy and grateful that I get to share my life with this beautiful guy. When I look down at my finger and I see my wedding ring, it's amazing. And I can't believe we've been married for 2 years. It feels like 5 minutes. Like I'd write like that. So that type of thing, I would then read that letter morning and night for about 30 days. But in the meantime, on top of reading it, I would also be scripting on my nighttime scripting, things connected with him, like we'd just taken a holiday together or we're sitting in a car together. I would always involve him in my scripting, and I would describe him, and I would describe exactly what I want in a husband. So you are reading the other one and you're still scripting every night, but it's different scripting. You're not writing the same thing every night. I think that is very important to mention this about like how you kind of do it, because most people think, okay, well, I'm going to write down the gratitude a journal. I'm going to write into a gratitude journal in the morning, and then in the evening before I go to bed, I'm going to do the scripting. And there is so many things what we want, right? So we want health, we want wealth, we want a husband, we want a family, we want a new house and all that kind of stuff. So all this stuff can be kind of distracting the whole process of attracting it. So would you say we should concentrate on one thing at that time and then let go and then move on to the other thing? Or what would you suggest? Yeah, you can do like that. Like I'm the same. I've got a few things on the go at the moment, manifesting wise. So I list them. So I write a list. So say there's 10 things, just for example. I'll write, I am happy and grateful that I have blah, blah. So I write them in a list form, just one sentence. And then on the night time, I would write like a mini script about each one on a different night. You know, so one night you could be scripting for your car. The next night you could be scripting for your husband. So I think as long as you are scripting and you're doing it daily, if you can, you know, if not, don't worry, just read over the other ones. It's the vibration, and you're always, you know, you can tell your subconscious mind doesn't know truth or lies. So whatever you tell it, it believes it and brings it to you, brings more of it to you. So I think as long as you're consistent, you don't have to like, I want the car, so for 30 days I'm only going to talk about the car, write about the car. You can mix it up daily with your list of things. It's not too much. It's not too much because they're all positive things about those items that you want. You know what I mean? You've always just got to keep it like you've already received it and how you're feeling with that, because it's the feeling. It's so important to know it's the feeling that's the secret. You've got to align.
Can you share some of your experiences with scripting?
Yes, definitely. I've just one from the other day. It's so exciting. I went to work and the parking where I work, Barbra, is just awful. Like it can make you about 40 minutes late for work just by trying to find a parking space. So now on a morning, I like to write a little list of stuff I'm grateful for, as I said earlier. And I always include my parking space at work, and I always put how easy it was to find. It was perfect. You know, it wasn't a scary park. It was like straight in, perfect. And I'm always on time for work. So this one particular day, I'm going into work and there's already a queue to get in the car park, and the car park says that it's full. So because I've already done my scripting, I saw that it was like chaotic, but I thought, no, come on, I know I've got this. I've done my scripting. And so I sat there and I just kept the energy high, and I just kept saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't believe I've got a parking. It's fantastic. And you know what happened? It was unbelievable. The person at the front suddenly decided, I can't wait anymore. So he tried to reverse, and everyone in the queue just had to move for him. So they all, like about 4 or 5 cars, just decided to change their mind and go away, like they came out of the parking. So then I was first in line. The full sign goes off. I go in, and literally to the left of me was a space.
Oh,
and it was
God.
like, literally made me. I parked my car and I was just like, oh my gosh. You know, like it was unbelievable. So, you know, to look at it, there was no way I was going to park on time. But I just kept that faith. You know, it is faith, really. I kept that faith that it was all working out for me. And, you know, like I said, the bridge of incidents, you couldn't make this stuff up. You know what I mean? I was so blown away. So there's things like the parking, which is only minor, but, you know, daily, I'm really grateful because it really just happens to me every day. And then the other thing is, I actually do think I've manifested this house. We've been here 3 years. And it was exactly what I kept asking for, even though I thought that it was quite large. You know, it was quite a big ask for what I wanted. I wanted 5 bedrooms because I wanted my children to have so much space. I wanted it to be in a really quiet, nice neighbourhood. And it's exactly what we asked for. It was exactly what we asked for. It was the price range that we wanted. It was unbelievable. And the thing is, you know, with big things like a house and things that we consider small, like a parking space, mm-hmm. It's actually the same ease to manifest. It's just that we think the bigger the thing, the harder it is to manifest. But it's actually the same. And once you build your confidence up with small wins, if you know what I mean, like, you know, a text message off someone or a free cup of coffee or the parking space, once you get those in the bag and you realise how it all works, that's when you can start asking for the bigger things with the faith that you know it's going to work. Because why wouldn't it? If the small things work, the big things work. There's no big and small in the universe. You can literally script and manifest whatever you want.
Yeah, totally. It's just we're seeing the value differently because the price tag has been put on the item, don't we? So that's why we see the big house is the expensive one and the small house is the cheaper one. No, I understand. I completely understand what you mean. You know, I always knew that I can win a lottery. I always believe that I will buy a ticket and I will win a lottery. And every single time I bought a ticket and I looked at a ticket, I was thinking, this can be the winning ticket. And I started to have this fear. What about if I win? And what am I going to do with the money? It's so much money. I don't want that responsibility. And I truly believe that is the reason why I haven't won a lottery. Yeah, it's so true because it's the belief. It's the faith and the belief. It's like, you know, with what we say, we're programmed to actually be quite negative. I don't know if you say this, Barbara, or you must know people who say it. You know, when you say, no, my luck, and it's always followed with a negative, you know, I hear it, but people say it all the time, I know my luck, that'll never happen to me. It's like we're programmed to just accept that we have bad luck and that's the way it is. So I actually have stopped saying knowing my luck, or I say a positive thing, knowing my luck, that will happen and it'll happen even quicker than I thought. You know, things like that. Make it positive. The way we talk to ourselves and what we script about, we have to believe that everything is always working out for us because it is and it can be. Absolutely. Can you talk about your skin, those little reminder sticky papers you have on your bathroom mirror?
Yes, so I've got Post-it notes in my bathroom just to remind myself. I'll put Post-it notes up to say that everything's always working out for me. That's one of my favourites. And then I put a Post-it note up to put like my skin is flawless and I'm looking really good for my age. And I actually get told that I look good for my age. So
you look good for your age. But you are very young as well, so.
But you know what happened the other week. This is another one, and I always say it's mind blowing. I don't know why. I always know now that it's going to work, but it still does blow my mind. You know, when it works, it's just that.
Yeah.
It's so excited, and that's why I love manifesting, because it does work. And then when you get what you've wanted, it's such a good feeling. But I actually wrote in one of my scripting, like it's quite cheesy to say this, but, you know, we're all being honest, so I don't mind. But I wrote on one of my scripts that I had, my legs were getting so toned that they looked like they did when I was 30. I said I'm 46, and really, you know how everyone's got a part of their body that they don't really like. It is my legs for me. So I scripted, you know, my legs are great and they're starting to look like they did when I was 30. Anyway, I've got my friend in England, and obviously I'm not there, and he's my best friend, and I haven't seen him for so long. And my mum sent me this little jacket. And I took a photo of myself, and I had this jacket on and I had some shorts on, and I sent it to my friend Ren. And he messaged me back and he went, "Wow, you look amazing, Taff. Your legs look like they look when we were on holiday in Greece and when we were in Greece together." And as soon as he said it, I instantly remembered my scripting, and it literally just made me laugh to myself. And I thought, oh my God, and he's my good friend. He's honest with me. You know, he tells me when I'm really not good. So, you know, he's for him to say that, it just made me think, oh my goodness. So, you know, Post-it notes, put them everywhere. We really do have to build ourselves up, because we shouldn't be negative, because the more you're negative, the more you're going to attract it. It's not good.
Absolutely. So can we script for other people and their health and their wealth?
Look, you can script for someone else, but it's you can only, it's quite complicated. Look, you can. I would say yes, but it's only if the other person has got the same desire. So if, like, say if I had a friend who didn't want to work, you know, just didn't want a job, I couldn't script for them to get a job. They wouldn't get one because they actually don't want one. You know what I mean? But if they wanted a job and I wanted them to get a job too, it would be more powerful, if that makes sense. Like I do it. Like, you know, when my husband was having, you know, when he was having a few work issues and things like that, or just COVID issues, you know, we've all had our problems, haven't we? I would script for him because I would know what his intentions were as well and what he wanted. So, and then that did work out, but he was on the same page, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but it was kind of, you were kind of supporting something what he already wanted. So maybe that's why it kind of made it powerful, if that's right.
Yeah. So, but I do script, like I've got a teenager, so, you know, it's rocky ground sometimes. So I'll sometimes script that, you know, me and her have had a lovely day together and things like that, when we may have had a bad day, but I script, you know, how I wish that, not how I wish, but how that day went. I'll just write it down in a different light. And we do normally have like a good week after that. So, you know, you can script for other people, really, but you've just got to make sure they want that too.
Absolutely. How about scripting for humanity?
Look, the best way to support someone else really is I just send them positive healing energy. You know, you can script for them, but they've got to want whatever it is themselves. So I think when you remember your own power and remind others of theirs, I reckon that's the best gift you could really give them for another person. Like, send them love, send them healing. And unless they're on the same page, it really isn't going to work. I must just say, I've just thought there's words as well that you really don't want to be using when you're scripting, like I want. I want is not the way to go about it, because want is like needing, which is needy. So stay away from those words. The most powerful words is I am. So always start with I am so happy and grateful, or I have. So that's how you want to be wording your scripts, not I want or I need, because you're only going to manifest you still wanting and needing those things, then they're not going to come.
Absolutely. And I think it's very important to also say that words hold their own frequency as well. Like when you said I want, it's a needy frequency, and it will just attract the neediness into it. So I completely agree. And I'm so grateful that you have just mentioned this, because that's a very, very, very good point.
Yeah. And you know, last night, actually, I was just thinking this, last night, I'm so into my scripting. It's not funny, but last night I had a lot of things on my mind, and I actually started to feel overwhelmed. So I just quickly, I turned back on my light, and I got back up, and I just wrote, I'm so happy and grateful that all these problems were taken care of, and now I'm free to have a good night's sleep. And I just listed the things that, were on my mind. And it was so freeing just to go to sleep, even just writing them down. It was like I'd just given them to someone else to, they weren't mine anymore. And then I went to sleep. So it's really good to get things on paper. It really is. Even, just to offload it type of thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tafline. Can you tell us more about the project Undercover Angels?
Yes, definitely. We're just in the process of getting together and doing online courses, which will cover all things to do with healings, manifestation, even scripting. So we're just in the process of doing that at the moment with Undercover Angels. And then with my healing hands, I'm still at the hospital, and I'm still doing my distance healings, and that's going really well. I'm just really enjoying where I am at the moment. And I think even as the world, this year, I think we're going to see like better things to you than.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think there's going to be loads of things coming up, and loads of talent and kindness. And I really feel really good going forward energetically.
Yeah. No, I can already feel that there's a shift in you. I do think we're over the worst, and I know some people have had it very bad. And you're in England, my family's in England, and it was strange times there. But we've got to keep scripting for our better times, because they're coming.
My last question for you is, where can listeners find you and get in contact with you?
I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Healing Hands by Tafline. So you can find me on there, private message me, and I'll always get back to you.
Thank you for listening. I hope you have enjoyed this episode and that you have gained a lot of information. As I have just launched this podcast, I have decided to give 2 lucky listeners a free psychic reading each month for the period of next 3 months. These readings will be a combination of a tarot and a psychic channeling. To enter, all you need to do is leave a review in the iTunes store, take a screenshot of it, send it to me on barbramayShow@gmail.com, which is BARBRAMAYSHOW@gmail.com. As you may already know, reviews are very important for podcasts, and they will help podcasts to expand and direct the important topics discussed to the appropriate audience. At the end of every month, I will announce the winner on my Instagram, which is @TheBarbraMayShow. So keep your eyes peeled, and I cannot wait to see you on the next episode.